So this week's episode of Boruto was actually pretty decent in my personal opinion. Actually, it was more than decent. I actually thought it was pretty good. And that's saying a lot compared to what we have gotten in these past other 12 episodes of Boruto. For this new episode of Boruto, it was actually thoroughly enjoyable. The past few episodes that we have seen in this series has just been building up the tension between, what exactly has been going down in the village, who exactly is the main culprit, and finally, in this episode, we finally see it being executed. The tension has now broken loose, and we are now having conflict within the story. But at the same time, the main culprit is not someone that I would personally want to see as the main villain, and that's probably because the character itself hasn't really been built up to a certain level in which I want to care about that character actually wreaking havoc to the village. And that is apparently, from what we see in this episode, that the main culprit is Sugure, or the vice president girl. The girl with the purple hair. Hopefully you know who I'm talking about. I mean, that's all I really know her as. That's all the development that she really has gotten, is just being the vice president girl. I mean, it was no shock, really, when it came down to actually revealing who the culprit was, in fact. It was more of a shock as to, like, really? Is this the actual antagonist that we have been, seeing actually, causing this chaos throughout the village? Is this actually, the main antagonist of this little portion that we are in of Boruto? Alright, I'll take it, whatever, I'll still enjoy the show for what it is, but, like, really? That's kind of, like, how it felt like. Because, if you guys remember, like, just to give a plain example of, like, part 2 from Naruto Shippuden, when it came down to the fight between Naruto and Pain, you actually really cared about that character, and you sympathized with it, because actually, in terms of who Pain was, I was able to connect with him a lot more, because he got a lot more development. Also, we actually learned that he had ties with Jiraiya in the past, and just what he did to the village made you go like, holy shit, what the fuck? You not only sympathize with that character, but you also hated him to a certain extent because of how, what happened due to what he did to the other characters within Boruto, back then. When it came down to this episode revolving around who exactly the main antagonist was, it's just like, okay, whatever. So yeah, in terms of the actual villain, it's just whatever at this point. I really don't care for her. Is she gonna cause some damage? Probably. I mean, just what they showed us in this episode, it was good. It was good, in fact. It's just, I don't really know how I feel about the main antagonist in this little portion of the Naruto series that we are in right now. Because we do know, once this is over with, most likely, it's just gonna be like, oh, okay, you know what, I know you caused us some trouble in the village, you're just a kid, so we'll let you off the hook. I know it's gonna go down that route, and you should know that as well too. If we have seen, Naruto before, that's technically what happens when it comes to children who actually fuck shit up. It's like, we'll just let it slide. We'll let it slide. But anyway, regarding about, the antagonist, I mean, we're just gonna have to take it for who it is. I mean, the episode was okay in and of itself. It's just I really don't know how to feel about the main antagonist as of right now. But anyway, as I stated before, this episode had some pretty good points to it. In terms of the animation was actually not that bad. Especially when it came down to the scenes between Mitsuki and the Vice President girl clashing it out. The ending part of the episode was actually pretty cool. And from what we see in Mitsuki in this, instead of actually protecting the Vice President girl, he has now a new order, and he technically wasn't protecting her, but he was keeping her alive, under surveillance. He was just basically keeping an eye on her. But now he is tasked with a new mission, and that is to kill the Vice President girl. And as we know, the Vice President girl's overall objective of right now, because she was, basically brought into this world for revenge, you know, even though she can't really decide for herself. She should be her own individual, which is basically where the question resides in. Now that Boruto has went through that porthole or whatever, the transportation, wherever they're being transported to, it really brings up the question as to whether will Boruto actually use No-Jutsu on the Vice President girl. I mean, are we going to see No-Jutsu version 2 from Boruto now? I mean, that's going to really suck, because, I mean, just judging on how the series is going, and just on basically what the Vice President girl's, you know, character is like, you know, we learn about her from her past that basically she was born in order to exact revenge upon the Hidden Leaf and ultimately destroy it. However, she can't think for herself. So that brings up the question as to, you know, Boruto wants to save both sides, you know, and in order to do that, in order to save the Hidden Leaf, and in order to save his friend, who he knows as the Vice President girl, he's gonna have to save her in order to stop it. And in order to do that, he's gonna have to talk No-Jutsu his way out of changing her mind and her whole, you know, mindset in terms of what is going down as of right now. So, I mean, I see where this series is going, because I have seen the other parts of Naruto, and just on how usually, you know, these confrontations go about, it's kind of following the same pattern, but it might spice things up differently, who knows. We'll just have to see. I mean, it would be cool to actually see a darker turn actually play out, but that's what I see things as of right now. When it comes down to Mitsuki, on the other hand, Mitsuki is after to kill, you know, the Vice President girl, and it's for the safety of the village, from what it seems like, or it could be another ulterior motive. I mean, we don't know, but it does seem as though he is getting orders from, you know, individuals, and most likely that is Orochimaru, just from what we have seen, you know, in the past 2 episodes, or last episode of Boruto, regarding how Mitsuki was brought into the world. He was basically a clone by Orochimaru, you know, and is conversing along with him in order to accomplish certain missions throughout the Hidden Leaf. Will ultimately we see Mitsuki actually bring about destruction to the Hidden Leaf himself? Maybe this just isn't the right time as of right now, and later down the line we can see that. So there is also that tension regarding Mitsuki building up and whatnot. One thing I also enjoyed about this episode was definitely seeing my boy Kakashi yet again. Kakashi looking dope as ever, and you know, it's just good to see him. It's good to see old returning faces. I mean, it only took us 13 episodes to actually see Kakashi, but hey, you know, Kakashi's back. Awesome job. I really like that. Now, regarding on how exactly everyone is going to be able to stop this, not a Jinchuriki, mind you. It's not a Jinchuriki, but it's actually a summoning animal, or a summoning monster, whatever you want to, you know, classify this creature as, known as Nue. Apparently, this animal has the ability to summon chakra. Even Naruto jumps into the fray in order to stop this creature. However, just due to Naruto's insane amount of chakra, Nue can actually basically you know, suck all that chakra that that Naruto just poured out into his body. He can take all that chakra away from Naruto and ultimately, you know, have enough energy to freaking blow the whole entire place up. And that is technically what Nue is. So it's really, I think, up to Boruto in order to stop this creature, because he is going to be tackling, you know, the Vice President girl, who is in control of this monster at the moment. However, judging from what we saw, you know, at the end of the episode, we saw that apparently the monster herself and Boruto were transported somewhere else into another dimension or whatever, you know, so there is that. But regards to the, you know, monster itself, technically it's a walking time bomb. It really is. It can suck all this chakra, and once it has a sufficient amount of chakra, the thing can ultimately explode, and that is pretty much what the creature was designed for. In order to be placed in the Hidden Leaf, gathering enough chakra in order to freaking just blow the hidden leaf up, which is completely crazy if you think about it. But yeah, I think that about is it for this episode of Boruto. I think I pretty much explained all of the important factors that we saw within this episode. The animation was very good, especially at the very end. The episode itself was just better from what we have seen in these past, episodes of Boruto. It only took us 13 episodes, but hey, at least, we're finally getting somewhere, especially when it comes to the tension actually playing out for once. Now that it's done building up, now we're actually gonna see the tension play out, and hopefully we see it executed well. I just don't personally feel as though, the Vice President girl really fits to be the antagonist. That's the only thing that I just can't bring myself to accept. But I don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. What did you think about this episode of Boruto? What do you think about the antagonist actually being the Vice President girl? Were you surprised? Were you not surprised? Do you think it should be someone else? Let me know in the comments. Be sure to give this video a like if you enjoyed it. Hopefully you enjoyed. Sorry if this review was quite long and probably all over the place. I know that this review kind of got confuzzled because there was just a lot to talk about, and I mean, I just kind of woke up like an hour ago, so I'm kind of still out of it. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed my review. If you wish to see more from me, hit that red subscribe button down below, and you'll never miss a video from me on the channel. That about does it for this video, everyone. Thank you all for watching. I will catch you all in the next one.